Welcome to episode 19 of The David and Hillary Show.
Bienvenido al episodio 19 de El Show de David y Hilaria.
We are so excited that you are here.
Estamos muy emocionados de que estés aquí.
Let's do this.
Vamos a hacer esto. Hablo español, pero no bueno. I took 4 years of Spanish in high school, and I learned the accent pretty well, and I learned how to pronounce the words fairly well.
Okay.
Because our teacher was really great at that, Mr. Dyke, Mr. Wayne Dyke. Appreciate you, brother. It was a good class. I took him all 4 years. But thankfully, we were not the class that only spoke Spanish, so we kind of learned it like English. We learned the grammar and how to put the adjective after the noun and, all the Spanish things. And then I didn't use it for 40 years.
Right.
More or less. Well, 35 anyway. But I remember some of it. And we're going to kind of circle back and talk about why we started out in Spanish.
See, we will, because I'm going to share some of my Spanish experiences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
My accent was good.
It was very
vocabulary was not great.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, on to show and tell. So we're going to start with the flowers. These are in our yard. This is a new daylily that just opened up this week. We've got a lot of different daylilies, so it'll be fun to see them come into bloom. That's the first one. And last week we highlighted the balloon flowers. I got a better picture this week. The one all the way on the left is just about to bust open. So you can see the ones kind of in the middle are really small, and there's all different sizes in there. They just get bigger and bigger, and then they bust open. And I kind of showed you this view, not the same exact picture, but that's a reminder of what they look like when they open. Really cool little flower. Here's our milkweed. We talked about how we had planted that in hopes that the butterflies would find it. We still haven't found any butterflies. We haven't been home a lot this week. But this bee sure found it. He was all over it, and I got a fun shot of him.
Yeah, he's adorable.
Flying.
He can smell the perfume.
If you've never really studied bees on flowers, they'll crawl around a little bit, but then, they fly. They back up and then sometimes go back to the same flower or a different one. Anyway, it's fun. I enjoy doing that. This is another daylily. That one, definitely, it's hard to miss that one in the garden. So bright.
Yeah, I love him.
I said I was going to highlight this because it was going to be amazing. And this is the trellis with the purple clematis, and the Stella de Oros. There's one of those in the middle at the top that you can see in the background. And I think these are called the purple de Oro, which is the purple repeating daylily. This is the best shot I could get to show you. It's one of those scenes that when you get back far enough to see the whole thing, it just doesn't look like anything in the camera. It's one of the frustrating things about photography. That's why I like macro photography so much. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the garden is hopping. Here's I think I showed you a red astilbe last week. We have a pink one in a different part of the garden, and then there's just fun stuff all around it. All the colors are coming in, and the weeds, and try not to look too close. But
yeah, keep moving.
This is another unique one. I've started seeing these in nurseries and big box stores like Home Depot and Lowe's.
We've made it popular.
It's called the David and Hillary Black and Blue Salvia. Except you probably won't see the David and Hillary part on there because it's not really called that. But it's a cool salvia that actually has black stems and deep blue flowers. We got it from a customer.
Yeah.
Who shared some with us, and
it'll take over if you're not careful.
Yeah, you got to watch out for it. This is just a stunning yellow coneflower that was in a customer's yard, and if you look on the very top, there's a little kind of gray-green bug of some sort on there. I thought that turned out pretty good for a cell phone pic, so I wanted to share that. And this is back in our yard. It's called a monarda. The we had tried different Monardas through the years in our garden, and for whatever reason, they never worked very well.
Right.
And we went out to one of our favorite places, Ira City Gardens, couple years back. We decided to try some of their Monarda because they said it's native. And this is the red native Monarda that's supposed to do really well in Tennessee, and it is crushing it in our yard. It is also taking over.
Yeah, so much so we're going to remove some plants, give it some more room.
Yeah, it's doing the opposite of not making
Yeah.
it. So
We've never had a Monarda do this. So amazing.
another plant that's kind of taking over is the lamb's ear that our daughter Sage loves. And I mean, this was, what was this, 15 years ago?
I mean,
she was pretty little.
Grade school. Yeah.
She picked it out. She wanted that when we were out shopping for plants, and we put it in, and it just went everywhere. It's all over. It's jumped over the sidewalk, and it grows wherever it wants to. It's starting to grow out on the lawn now. So it's, but here's another fun one with a bee on the lamb's ear when it's blooming. Here we have a canna lily, Canna. There are lots of different colors of cannas, and this is one that a customer shared with us. It's kind of a coral color, I guess, and it's coming in strong and looking really good in the front of the house. I'm glad we got some of those from our buddy Doug. And this is the ruby slippers hydrangea that we showed you last week by the back door. I'm not showing you the whole plant this time. This obviously is more of a close-up, and the reason is because this is what it does. It starts out white, and all the little litter that's all over the leaves, that's just like, I don't even, it's part of the flower. The pollen. It's like the pollen from the flower just kind of falls out and goes everywhere.
This also smells amazing when it does this.
Just going in and out of the door. It is amazing.
Thank you to our sponsor, Claritin, for today's episode. I love it. It's so beautiful, but wow.
We're trying to set a record for claiming sponsors we don't really have. That's probably 5 or 6 now. In the lower left corner of this one, you can see a cool insect on there. I don't know what that is, but it's always got bugs on it because they love it. But the main reason I showed it to you is because the ruby slippers eventually will have almost ruby colored blooms on it. They go from white to red, and they do so by getting little splotches of pink that spread and then get darker and darker, and you can see that process starting. It's fun to watch. So here we go. We were out shopping for plants recently, and I found a Joseph's Coat climbing rose, which I've wanted for years but never see them in the garden centers, and we found one.
Yeah, you kind of tricked me on this one just a little bit. Because we kind of made a pact. We were going to not buy new plants for a little bit.
Yeah, we get some other things we're saving up for.
And then you said those words, and I couldn't help it. You said, I've never seen this for sale in a nursery before. What'd you say? You'd only seen it in
catalogs.
I said, what? Never? You've never seen this? We have to buy it. And it had only come in that day.
Right.
They'd just gotten it off the truck. They only had a few.
Right.
And when we took it up to buy it, they're like, oh, yeah, these won't last long. So we had to buy it.
Yeah. And they kind of, they have the yellows, oranges, reds. They change as they open. And it's just getting established. We put a special trellis in a special place to really hopefully highlight this if it does well. It's getting the water and the sun that it needs, and does seem to be doing well.
It does seem happy.
Seems to be off to a good start.
Yep.
I think I showed you this hydrangea last week on the back of the house, and I wanted to really highlight it this week because it is just going crazy. But what's really fun about this one, and this is one of the ones that I feel like I say this about every plant in our garden, but we got this from a customer. Not the previous
one. We actually bought that.
We actually bought the rose.
This was free.
This one was one that a customer was ready to get rid of, and we brought it home. And it's taken a while for it to really get established, but I don't have any idea what the name of it is. But if you go through the pictures, you'll see on this same plant, there are flowers with a mix of like a yellow green and purple and pinkish. almost like a blue purple and a red purple. Here's some that are more pastel, that are kind of more consistent rather than being, like 5 colors on the same flower. This is a red purple with the kind of yellowish. And then I thought this was fun with the red purple in the front and the blue purple in the back.
It's so beautiful.
And then here's the last one from that plant with what you don't notice right away on the hydrangeas, especially if you don't get super close, is they have this little balled up center that I only noticed this because we took some cut flowers from our daughter's most recent wedding and just kept them in water for a while. Eventually that balled up little center will open like it's its own flower. And what I noticed on this one was that it was a really saturated red violet with almost a true blue center piece, which,
It's beautiful.
very unique. And all those hydrangea pictures are on the same plant, growing on the same plant.
We cut those. The wedding was in October. I think we cut them in August, and we just put them in buckets. And my friend had told me, when you want to dry a hydrangea, you cut the hydrangea, put it in just a little bit of water, and then just let the water evaporate. And as it evaporates, the hydrangea will dry. And we have a lot of them around the house that we have from our garden. And we did that for the wedding. They were stunning. And then
the cool part was, even though they look pretty now, they do kind of have a spring/summer vibe.
Right.
And in the fall, they had a fall vibe. So that was really cool.
And then I was a little sad because, of course, once we cut them, then we couldn't look at them in the garden. They were just drying in the shed.
Right.
But then it rebloomed. And I had blooms longer last season.
The plant in the garden rebloomed.
The plants in the buckets. Yeah, it was a miracle. No, the plant rebloomed, and I actually got to enjoy the hydrangeas longer into the fall because it sent out new blooms after I cut it. So
Yeah.
a new tradition has been born.
Very cool.
Yeah. Oh, look at that one.
That we were out shopping and I just couldn't help but take pictures of this. This flower is stunning. You'll get a little better picture of what the full flower looks like in the next one, but I love that with the little yellow beetle on it.
So cute.
These I thought had to be a sunflower of some type, but the tag said that they're in the Black-Eyed Susan family. So
I could see that. Yep.
Go figure.
No, I can see that.
And then you need to talk about this one.
Yeah. I have a habit of trying to just pluck weeds whenever we have 3 free seconds, because that's about all the gardening I'm getting this spring.
Yeah.
And so
it's a good problem, but it's a problem.
So we were walking out the door. I looked down. I saw a weed. I was like, oh, I'll grab it. And out came a baby tree that I guess was trying to live its best life in my doorway.
Right.
And again, it's probably just the preschool teacher in me. Seeds are fascinating to me.
Right.
Just to see this picture with the seed, I don't even know what kind of seed that was, what kind of tree that was going to be. It looked
like a pecan, but it can't be because we don't have any pecan trees anywhere around us.
Just crazy squirrels. And I just love it. The roots go down, the plant goes up. Nobody has to give it a tutorial. Seeds know what to do. It's so biblical, and it just encourages me. And there's a lot of lessons there. Take a minute and enjoy a seed. Look at a seed sometime and just think about how miraculous they are.
Yeah.
So much information stored in that little sphere. And
that's crazy, right?
And when it's time, it knows what to do.
Yeah.
Until the mean old lady plucks it out, throws it away. But, that's because it was just not in the right space.
The beautiful things do that, and the weeds do that too. But proof that there is a God, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I loved it.
Well, we got some good responses last week from sharing about the job that we're doing.
Yeah.
The big waterfall and landscaping job. So I thought we'd give you some updates. It's not completely done. We don't have finished pictures for you, but
coming soon to a podcast near you.
Yeah. when we came back after a couple rain days, this is what it looked like. A lot of water in the bottom of the pond. Such a pain. And but what are you going to do? So we pumped the water out. We started building the rock walls around the top edge of the pond. We put some gravel in the bottom. Then we put some more water in the bottom so we could rinse the gravel out. You can kind of see in this picture it was really, really dirty before we cleaned it. And then at the opposite end, at the top, this is where the water is going to come out. And we were making a sheer wall there with dirt so that when we put the liner back on it, we'd have a good place to put a rock wall supporting the main starting waterfall drop. So in this picture, you can see the red arrow. That's the wall that's supporting the big rock. And we'll show you that big rock in a minute. This is kind of a front view, and the kind of fun but also a little bit weird view. When I was learning to build waterfalls, one of the places that I turned to, they did classes and had books and all the things, and they said a waterfall needs to look good dry and wet, meaning even if it's not running, it should look good. Well, when you get to one that's this big and this complicated and has this much stuff going on, it kind of just looks like somebody opened up a bag from a helicopter and dropped about 1,000 rocks on here. So I don't know how good it looks dry, but there it is. And then there's our stone that's going to start the whole thing off. This stone is 6 feet wide by 2 feet wide and 2 inches thick. And those black tubs, the water's going to come up through there and spill forward onto that rock and make a big sheet waterfall. So just everything in process. This gives you a little more of an idea of the scale and scope. If you think back to the last week's episode, that entire hill, including the part over to the right where the giant tarp is, was covered with green plants. Mm-hmm. And we removed all of them and then got in and did the waterfall work. And we showed you some of this last week, but I just want to kind of give you a little bit of the scale of it. What we also did this week is we went in, and the slope of the hill is so severe that with just straight dirt on the two sides, it's kind of hard to make plants sit on, a hill like this and grow the right way and all the things. So we cut in, made ledges, and built rock walls. So you can see them on the left side. We also had to do the same thing on the right side. And obviously this is not a pretty art picture. There's all kinds of buckets and everything all over the place. Just people doing work.
That's right.
This is the closest thing I can show you to a finished picture. It's not even really close to being finished. And if you really look, this is actually taken before we did the terracing on the left and the right. But it does show you the big sheet drop at the top, and then it splits into basically 4 different waterfalls as it goes down. And so you can see somebody enjoying it on one of the seating rocks that we had put in place.
I love our big rocks that we put.
Yeah.
Those are fun. They're great to sit on. They look beautiful. Yeah.
And our customers are happy too.
Yeah.
They've been really happy with the project, and I'm excited to show you the finished product once it's finished.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Soon. We're almost there. Finish line.
Well,
see it.
This is a kind of a bonus picture. What we're going to be talking about today is communication, specifically communication with different languages. But Hillary and I have had to really take our communication skills to the next level, being that for the last almost 1.5 years now, we've been married, but also working together. We're together almost all the time, truly.
Yeah, I tell people we're running a 3-legged race every day.
Yeah.
Like,
we have to be in lockstep. And this is one of our other customers' ponds. It's a much smaller pond. And Hillary loves to get in, put her water shoes on, and get in and trim out the yellow lily pads and just keep everything looking nice. It's one of the responsibilities we have at one of the other
well, look how
houses.
brave I am. So close
Oh,
to this
the
crocodile. Yeah.
It's a fake crocodile head to keep predators away from the fish.
So actually, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes they scare me.
Sometimes you forget they're not real.
No, I don't forget. I'm still just scared. They're just weird looking.
Well, I mean, they look like crocodiles.
Yeah. Yeah. What I really should be afraid of is the fact that we have legit water snakes that could, seriously damage you. But I don't think about that. I think about how much I love being with the fish and the water lilies. So I can't think about it a little.
We know that venomous water snakes are in Tennessee, but we have never encountered one while in the water.
Right. Near the water.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
That's another story. That's all right. All right. So you shared a little bit about your language stuff at the beginning. Of course, in our intro, David was translating everything I said into Spanish, which was so fun. But we've just had so much. Personally had so much fun working with these guys this week. They speak better English than I speak Spanish. That's for absolutely sure.
They speak better English than I speak Spanish, but they don't speak great English.
Right. And so
these are, just to recap, I have a friend who is originally from south of the border. He's here legally, and he employs legal Hispanics that most of them don't speak very good English. And so when we have a bigger job, I call my buddy Abner, and he helps me get workers. Yeah. And they work hard, and they know how to do a lot of stuff. And
they're fun to be around.
Yeah.
I love it.
If I give them a job and they run out of a job, they either look around for something else to do and jump into something that they know needs to be done, or they come ask me.
Yeah.
They're really good workers and really good guys, but they speak this much English and I speak this much Spanish, and
it's been interesting.
We figure it out.
Yeah.
And Hillary speaks this much Spanish.
So very little. So very little. So words I have gotten to use or gotten to learn this week. Roca means rock.
You got to roll that R, babe.
Roca.
Yes.
Grande roca, or roca grande, probably.
Grande, the adjective goes on the end.
Because I can't lift that one. So we've been using a word. I looked it up. It actually means earth. But when the guys want to talk about like dirt, like do you need more dirt, less dirt? Tierra is one of the words we've been using.
Yep.
I've used a lot of bueno because they're doing such a good job. And I want them to know that.
Right.
And then today, they were working on that pathway, and I said, oh, es muy bonita, which means pretty. I don't know if there's a better word to say, like, it's beautiful. Like, what a great job they're doing. So,
I feel really comfortable saying, I love that it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I don't know if when I say, oh, muy bonita, they usually look like, okay, we know that's a compliment, but they also are like a little side eye like,
did you really want to say that? I don't know.
I get tired of saying bueno, but they light up the most when I tell them, oh, bueno.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, good. We're
on track.
Giving you what you're asking for.
And then, I'm so tired I can't roll my R.
Trabajo.
Thank you. Gracias. Which just means job or work. And we usually talk about when we're coming back to work or work in the morning. And I've heard you say that a lot. So my history with foreign language has been almost zero, because I don't know if you know this, but in high school, I didn't have to take any. So I had a lot of music classes, and for whatever reason, that counted towards graduation in a way that I did not have to go take foreign language. Also, you did.
Music is a language.
It is a language, yes.
But no, I did not take any music in high school. I took 4 years of Spanish.
I did not take any Spanish until, thank you, Indiana Wesleyan, you made me take Spanish. So my first experience trying to learn a foreign language was freshman year. Actually, was it freshman? I think I waited till sophomore year. I stepped into my first Spanish class, and this professor was like like the immersive, right? Like, oh, when you're here, we're just only going to speak Spanish, or it's all going to be, you're just going to, I don't know what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to learn the language, but I did not. And I'm pretty sure that from the moment he said that, I blacked out a little bit because it just made me just scared. And I had a friend who took the class with me. We just happened to end up in the same class. So he would literally translate for me. And he would whisper things to me. It's like, because the professor would like give you commands. Like, show me your pencil. Wave to your friend. Like, he would tell you to do things. And then to prove you knew what to do, you were supposed to do them. And I just remember sitting there one day and the professor said something to me and I just smiled.
You thought he said, show me your pretty teeth.
Show me your teeth. No. And my friend leans over. He's like, he said, raise your right hand. And so I was like, all right, gotcha. Yeah, I don't remember what I got in that class. The next semester, that friend was done. They didn't have to take anymore. I'm on my own, but I did pull out a B+. So I must have learned a little something. Un poquito.
Will miracles never cease?
Yeah. But also, in that same college, I had a job where I would call prospective students and... Yeah. I was just trying to like, hey, do you have any questions about the school? It was basically a PR job. You're trying to encourage new students to come. I liked it. And there were several of us in the room with our manager, and we were all just making calls all night long, just for, like 3 or 4 hours, however long we were working that night. And then we would call all over the country. So we kind of had this game where we would just like, right before you'd make the call, you just like double check. Hey, I wonder what state I'm calling. Maybe I'm calling, like, I wasn't super well traveled at the time. Like, oh, maybe I'm calling California, way across the country. And one night I looked at the abbreviations, the abbreviation of the place I was going to call. I could not think of what state that was. Nothing. And at the very last second, the phone is ringing. And I call out to the room, what state is the abbreviation, has the abbreviation PR? I couldn't think of anything. And my manager at the last second says, you're calling Puerto Rico. And at that, like a movie, they're like, hello? Or maybe it was even, hola. Again, like 20-year-old Hillary, kind of blacked out. I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? And I just had a split second to decide what to do. Yeah. Which wasn't good. And I just decided to do the stereotypical, I'll just talk louder in English. And I didn't realize I was doing it. I think I was just scared, nervous, And my manager, who is just dying laughing in the other cubicle or whatever, he calls out, he's like, Hillary, they're Puerto Rican. They're not deaf. And you know what? The joke was on him, because after that, I couldn't talk. And he literally had to get up from his chair, come over to my desk, and take over the call.
Rescue the call.
Because I was done.
Yeah.
I was done. I was just horrified and embarrassed.
I've seen that laugh that you can't come back from.
Yeah. Yep.
Usually there's no Spanish involved, but...
Yeah. I'm trying not to do it now. So just even the thought of it was just horrifying. It was so embarrassing. But...
they're Puerto Rican. They're not deaf.
Yeah.
I like it.
So this week, we have been taking advantage of Google Translate. And it's really been helpful. Yeah. A lot of the things we can communicate with our Spanglish, right? Is that what we kind of called it?
Yeah.
Spanish English.
Mm-hmm.
And
lame attempt.
Yep. And we usually can get by, but when things like we just really can't communicate what we're wanting to say, we just go to Google Translate, type in English what we want, and then it translated into Spanish. And usually just, you just show them what it is. Well, this week I was getting extra fancy, and I was so excited, like, oh, I could communicate a full thought to these guys, because I
Right.
want them to know, like, we really like you. We want to talk with you. Like, I would love to learn more about them. I'm really frustrated that our language is kind of like hindering our relationship, right? This breakdown in our communication. And so we were all in the truck together. We were running an errand, and you were driving, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna type this into my phone. Okay, let's be honest. I type like this. There's no two thumb thing going on here. So I get it all
It's
in there.
sad.
And then you can even hit the play button, and then Google Translate will say it to them.
Read it out loud.
Yeah, and I was so excited, and I thought I was doing such a great job, and I showed them, and I played it, and they were like nodding and yes,
And that's about when I said, babe, you're playing it in English. That's English.
I hit the wrong
She
button.
punched in everything in English and said translate to Spanish, and then I don't know what happened, but
pushed the wrong one.
she's pressing read it out loud play
Yeah.
to the Hispanic guys in the back seat that speak almost no English, and it's like, hey, I want you to know that we're going to go to the dump, and when we get there, we need your help to unload the trailer. I'm like, babe, it's English.
It's English. Yeah, and the sad part is when it started speaking English, I did not recognize that.
No.
I was
She's
so
just sitting
proud.
there like with
It's
a big
so
smile,
great.
the
This is so
phone
helpful.
on the back. She's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you getting this?
He said, raise your right hand. What is Spanish for airhead, I wonder?
Cabeza hueca.
Yeah, right here. Right here. All right, well, you know what? It's been a long week. It's been a long day. I
Yeah.
think that is all. I think that's all we have for today. The
Yeah.
adventures in landscaping.
Well, communication's important, and sometimes you have to work extra hard at it, but you got to be able to get on the same page with people or things don't get done.
That's right.
Yeah. So, gracias por ver nuestro video.
Nos vemos.